Just start with team news, the weekend, anything?
Yeah, we got a couple of little niggles. Andy Kellett played for the under-23s midweek, and he's slightly tweaked his knee, and Elliot Hewitt needs to go and see a surgeon and get some advice, because he's had some pain in his knee, and the MRI hasn't come back great. So them two look like they might be a little bit more longer term. And Spike Alex Howes has got looks like a grade something tear in his thigh, so he keeps breaking down as well. So we've had a few little niggles, but not too much. Craig McKell-Smith's got a little niggle with his Achilles, but he's trained, but he's a little bit sore as well. So we just got a few feeling the the training on 3G at times every now and then, but that's probably getting to them.
When you look back at Saturday, was it just important maybe in a way that you didn't lose the game?
Certainly the way we played. Yeah, we didn't play anywhere near as well with the ball as we have or we can. And when the old saying goes, when you don't play well, it's important to be in the game. And Doyley, he talks quite often, and I say this saying quite often as well. He's been promoted several times, and he said in them promotion games sometimes the team only played well 10 times throughout the season, and the other times they played average, or they ground out wins, or they hung on in there, or they got a bit of luck, and ultimately you have to do that. And the most promising thing from Saturday's game is that we didn't play very well, but we dug in and we kept a clean sheet. At
this stage as a manager, do you not care about performances? Is it all about getting those points, or in there do you want to see something productive on the field?
I'm a big believer that normally performances followed by results. So when I talk about performance, I'm not talking about free-flowing, lovely football between the boxes. A high-end performance means you defend your penalty box really well, you do your set pieces properly, you're a threat in the other box, you get in there often, you look like you've got goals in you, you've got the right bodies arriving in that box. That's all part of a high performance, and I think if you get all of them right, you give yourself a great chance of winning. If you're sloppy on your set pieces or conceding, doesn't matter what you do in the boxes, you're chasing a game. And the other day we were poor in our play, but we defended very, very well and clung to a point. So part of the performance was good, and part of it not so good.
Maybe a reversal of what we talked about a couple of months ago, where you talked about individual errors leading to goals. You seem to have stamped that out. But what about the other end of the pitch? Do you have any concerns now that lack of goals could be a problem?
No. I think we've had 2 games now we haven't scored. Prior to that, whether we were scoring 4s or 5s, we were still scoring. 1 at Lincoln, 2 at Forest Green, 1 at Mansfield, 1 at Newport. So we were scoring, and we just had 2 games. And I look back, I've said it before, I look back at the Tranmere game, I thought that the Mansfield and the Newport games probably took their toll, and we looked fatigued and a yard off it. And the other day we've looked back through the video, we've done video analysis, we learned quite a lot from it, and we saw the reasons why we didn't carry so much of a threat, and we've worked hard on them in training.
Well, what about the next 2 games? Let's start with Cheltenham on Saturday. What do you expect from them?
He's done a very, very good job. Obviously, I think when Notts played him first time around, both teams were fighting for their life down the bottom, and since then they've sort of ground their way into a position where they're in a good place at the moment. I don't think they're by any means thinking they're safe, but they're if they carry on where they've been up till now, they'll grind out enough points to be safe. No problem about that. So he's done a great job. The manager's got them organised, got them solid, got them playing to their strengths. Like I say, they've been playing 3-5-2 for most of the time, and they're good at what they do, and they've got some good players in there. And I think they're on a really good unbeaten run at home as well. So they'll be favourites.
You won't have much rest before a long trip to Carlisle on the Tuesday. Will that possess any problems, do you think?
Only it gets in the way of the first day of Cheltenham races, which is never good. I don't know why the Football League keep putting these, keep messing up the Cheltenham week. It's a festival week, and but no, it's part of football. Part of football is you play, you recover, especially at the lower leagues when you've got the 46 games. It's part and parcel, and there won't be any complaints from us. We have to dig in. we'll assess on Monday after Saturday's game who's where, and I'll have to make a judgment call on how we're going to try and get 3 high performances out of the team that week. And
probably with the distance and going to Carlisle, I guess you'll get very little time to work on anything between Saturday and Tuesday.
No, we won't. We've done our homework on Cheltenham. We've done work on that. I've already started watching Carlisle's game, sort of trying to be ahead of the curve. So we'll be prepared, but it's hard because we won't know what players we've got available, and until we get through Monday, you have to take it game by game, and we'll worry about Carlisle on Monday afternoon.
We talked at one point in your first stages about targets and where you'd like to be. With what's gone on, have you adjusted that points target, or is it pretty constant from when you first came?
Oh no, it's coming down every week. Obviously when you've got loads of games to play, as you get further down the line, you have to get less. We haven't got the points that I'd hoped we'd have got or I wanted to get. We've been all right lately. We've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2 of the last 6, and in itself that's sort of mid-table form, but the position we've been in prior to February, we need more than mid-table form. So what we'll need to stay up, I don't know, and I can't really govern that. All I can do is take each game as it comes, try and get as much as we can out of every game, and hopefully at the end it will be enough.
Thank you.
Just on Elliot Hewitt, what's actually the problem with him? Is it cartilage or is it...
With who, so Elliot?
Elliot Hewitt, yeah.
I think it's his meniscus at the side. It might have just come away a little bit. The physios can talk in the technical terms more than I can, but it's one of them that the surgeon needs to now look at the results and decide whether it's something that can repair over time with rehab or whether it needs surgery. So there's a good chance that we've only sort of, God knows how long we've got left, that all might come too soon for him.
I was going to say, do you think he might miss the rest of the season?
I don't know at the moment until we find out what the surgeon says, and then obviously we'll announce it in due course if it's more serious than we thought.
In terms of the relegation battle, do you anticipate it going down to the final day?
It'd be brilliant if it didn't. It would be wonderful if we could take care of it before then, but ultimately with where we are, that's going to have to be an enormous run. Funny, because when I was at Wimbledon, I got to probably a similar time. It was probably midway through February, and I said that this is going to go to the last 2 or 3 games, and I can't see it being any different here. So I'm prepared for it. There might be 1 or 2 teams that aren't, and I hope they're not. But I'm preparing for it to be a grind all the way till the last minute of the last game.
What did you learn from the Port Vale game in particular in terms of moving the ball? You said you watched the video analysis. What things have you been trying to work on? Not to give too much away.
No, just we there's stuff that I don't know. As a manager, you take for granted. I always try and relay management to spinning plates. And you work on one thing, and the moment you turn to work on that one goes to 4, and so sweet. So there's so many elements of football. From basic stuff like their goal kicks, our goal kicks, throw-ins, and the starting positions, and so there's little things, and we got loads wrong. We were a little bit deep on too much of the stuff, and that sort of in the end that meant that we didn't have enough players in advanced areas. Certainly, in a lot of our play, there was times we were trying to play out from the back on a 6v6 press against us, and there was times we were trying to play forward when it was on to play at the back. So we got a lot of things wrong. We went through the video. I don't ever do video analysis to dig people out. It's all about learning the players. We're really sort of into it and said, oh wow, now we've seen that. Wow, it tells us everything we need to know. And it's funny because I tried to address it at half time. What I saw on the video I saw during the game, I tried to address it at half time, but even though I gave the information, we didn't really carry it out in the second half. Like I say, still had chances to maybe nick the game as well.
What kind of game are you expecting against Cheltenham? I mean, Michael Duff said this morning that beware the wounded animal. He seems to think you pointed to Notts' results against Forest Green and said, look, this is what they're capable of. How do you see the game sort of developing?
Well, I hope all I can focus on is us, and I hope we get back to the levels of them 3 performances with the intensity. You know, everyone had come in, it was fresh, it was kind of a team we'd thrown together at that point. Now we're getting to know each other a bit more. I just don't want any apprehension to set in to the boys, any anxiety with where we are, the pressure. You know, like I've said to these players before, they've come in, they've got a great chance. They've come into a really difficult situation, a lot of them, and they've got a great chance to be heroes. And, you know, if they can't pull it off, I don't think they'll be seen anything else other than heroes for trying to come into a club and giving it everything they've got. So there's nothing to lose for them, and that's what I'm trying to create, that nothing to lose mentality. Don't fear failure. Just have a go. And obviously we've got some young lads in there who are learning on the job. We've got some know-how in there, and we're just trying to blend the 2 together and do enough to save the season.
In terms of the forward players, do you think Craig McCall-Smith will make it on Saturday?
Yeah, I hope so. It's again, you know, there's more difficult things than you know, here at the moment, which, you know, training facilities, and we've been on 3G a little bit lately, and that's not easy. Some of the players can't train on it or don't like it, which is why we sometimes train at the ground. So as well as the relegation fight, there's other elements we're trying to battle, but we're doing the best we can with it. And you know, I think that Macca will be fine. Who can get through all 3 games this week, I don't know. And like I say, you know, whatever decisions I make over these 3 games, it will be the best team we can put out to try and win the game.
And it's interesting because you said after the game on Saturday that you felt that you could sense the anxiety in the stadium. Do you think the players will be free of that at the weekend, bearing in mind they're not at home in front of it, not going to be in front of a big crowd?
Possibly, but you know, I called it last Thursday. You know, when I did my press conference, and you have this, you know, you looked at the Cambridge game before that, and I said, you know, there's a natural tendency when it's a 6-pointer, so to speak, for that anxiety to creep in. You know, when you play Lincoln, you're not expected, everyone just gets behind you. It's a bit of a derby. When you play Mansfield, everyone's behind you. No one's expecting much. When you play Port Vale at home, all of a sudden it's, oh, we've got to win this one, we've got to win this one. And before you know it, that's every person in the crowd. And then every time someone gives the ball away, and, you know, we're not a team that's massive and, you know, 2 big 6'4" centre forwards and massive around the pitch, and we launch it and we play on second balls. We've got to try and pick our way through and get your McCall-Smiths and your Enzios and Virgils and that on the ball in right areas. And you know, sometimes that takes bravery, and the anxiety can make that a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying that's the crowd's fault, because we didn't play well enough, and I've shown the players why we didn't play well enough. But you know, I've been involved in this, so I know what's coming, and our home games are going to be important.
In terms of Enzio, he had a quiet game by his standards last week. I know a few of the fans picked up on that. How did you try and go getting the best out of him? Because he was absolutely sensational at Forest Green, wasn't he?
Yeah, there's 2 elements. There's a physical element where he'd come back from an injury before, and he had 2 or 3 games when he was at it. And sometimes you get the lull, the bounce after that, where if you know, you find it a little bit harder physically, and the fact that you've been out for so long catches up on you. So I've seen that with loads of players. It could be that, you know, and we tried to freshen the group up at times during the week. This week we've done a little bit more intense fitness work, and it could be that. It could just be that, you know, I've seen the footage that the way we played and the things we did enabled him to be quiet, because we didn't get the ball into the right areas enough. We didn't work hard enough as a front 4. We didn't work hard enough and brave enough with our passing to get the right players in the right areas, and therefore people like Enzio don't get so much of the ball and they have a quiet game.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else? Mark? Yeah, Gaffer, you said you referred to Cheltenham's home form earlier, and the fact that we played better here when we're sort of not expected to do anything. Is that something you're sort of looking to play off when you go to Cheltenham, because they're in such good form at home? Yeah,
everyone likes to be the underdog, I think, because you go in with lower expectation. You know, that's what I'm trying to create with this group is you know, and I've already told them I'm not gonna, you know, get aggressive with them or rip into them after games or anything. We've got 11 games to go. We need to stick together. Everyone needs to have a smile on their face, be bubbly, you know, and put their shoulders back and enjoy this challenge. So whether it's Cheltenham, whether it's Carlisle, we've got 2 away games now where if you look at it on paper, people will say, well, we'll struggle to get anything from them. Well, you know, let's go and prove them wrong. Let's go and prove ourselves right. Let's go and win them games no one expects to, and set up the Morecambe game at the end of the week and go into that game in a much better place than we started the week. And that's everybody's intentions. Whether we can do it or not, it's a different kettle of fish. But we certainly look to address why we weren't so great last week, and if we can keep the steeliness that we had in our defending and add a bit more quality going forward, we can be a match for anyone.
How do the lads sort of respond to that underdog role you sort of give it in game play?
I think it's easier to, you know, because the natural thing is if you're 0-0 with Lincoln after an hour, people are going, oh, we're doing all right here, we're keeping it. If you're 0-0 with Port Vale, people are going, why aren't we winning? And come on, we've got to get this going. There's just a different feel or atmosphere around the place that comes with expectation, and the teams at the top, the best teams, they're good at it. They're good at dealing with it, and ultimately we're in a situation where the players really, really want to do well for this club. They want to turn it around. They want to be heroes for these fans. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot more pressure down the bottom than there is at the top. And I'm trying to get them to embrace it and enjoy it and look forward to it.